Yo, what's going on, guys? How are you all doing? Today's video, I wanted to talk about a couple things. One's going to be around 3v3. I know the season's about over, but this is some really crucial info if you have a Master Luke of what you should use him with on defense. So that's the first thing. And the second thing I want to talk about is tanks and where they're so important in the game right now, and especially pre-taunts, which one you should get for, and which one is honestly the best pre-taunt in the game. Stick around for that. So first things first, let's go and talk about this 3v3 stuff. So if you have a Master Luke and you have Gas and you have GK, this is one of the best defense in the game right now for threes. This pulls Kylos, this pulls Master Lukes. The only ones I've seen beat this has been Array. I can go back into some of my buddies' history about Blade Baka. People struggle so hard versus this team, especially if they have it modded properly. If you have this mod properly, you're going to get so many holds. And today's opponent I had kept both his Kylo and his Master Luke for offense, and he has wasted both of those on my own GL. And that alone just kind of goes to show you how powerful this team is. So modding these guys, you want to go for full speed onto JML with some potency, and then on the Gas, you want to go for speed and crit chance, around 300 plus speed to stop some of the Darth Revens from going before you, and also going and getting the crit chance. So there are some ways to counter this team. It's not like the invincible team you can't beat whatsoever. I think there are some non-GL counters to it, but if you don't have those guys built up properly, and let's say you don't have a Watt Symbol available, you can't really beat this too easily. It's going to take a Ray, I would say, or a mirror match if you outspeed them in the mirror match. But this is definitely a great team. This is going to kind of fit in with the Kylo, the Night Sister Kylo team, which is going to be a great team. It already has been. And also the Rayhan and Chewie. It's around that kind of with how great those guys are in GAC for 3v3. So if you guys have a team you want to hold on for, or maybe build up for the next 3v3 season down the line, definitely wait for this team and build it up if you guys can. It is amazing. It has pulled a lot of great counters. So that's just like the first thing, which kind of ties in with the tanks, because we saw two tanks right there, GK and Master Luke. Great tanks in the game and great taunts, right? So now, the next part I want to talk about is not for 3v3. It's just for all-around uses in the game with tanks and taunts. There's a lot of taunters in the game that really don't even have the tank role. But I want to just talk about just purely the tanks of what they can all do. They are amazing. I also want to talk about not just pre-taunts and just really good auto taunts in the game, but what goes along with them, the underlying effects with how the mods affect these characters. It is very important, and that's why I recommend with mods building up a very strong build for your tanks in tank sets for mods. It's a very crucial thing right now in the game, is modding for your tanks. So what are some of the best tanks in the game? You can see right here I'm working on L3. I've not had my L3, if you guys follow the channel, I have not had my L3 at 7-star for around 2 to 3 years now. Ever since she's come in the game, I've not had her maxed whatsoever. But now with double drops, I have been going insanely hard onto those refreshes to get her 7-star ASAP, because she is so dang good. And in my opinion, L3, besides any GLs or whatever, she is the best taunter in the game. That might be a bit too much for me to say that, but the uses you get out of this character is beyond insane. It is crazy the uses you can use with her. She is so plug and play that it is ridiculous. I mean, you can see her being used with Jedi, with Darth Revens, with with Rays even. I mean, there are so many different uses for this character, especially right now with a Queel. I said it right that time, guys. I said it right. Queel and IG-11. L3 will be an amazing tank for that team. So you can probably see L3 being used in a lot of Rays with Barris, and also maybe even used in other GL teams like a Luke. But you for sure want to be seeing L3 with some good gear if you're going to be using her. Mine's only gear 11 because she's not 7-star yet, but she is so amazing. One thing I like about L3, if you were to use her by herself without any other scoundrels, like let's say in a Ray team, and she is the only scoundrel or droid there, well, guess what? This unique for the droids is amazing. I don't recommend the Zeta right now, but this other unique part is amazing. So the thing I like about this, if she is the only droid or scoundrel, rather it's just scoundrel right here, it says whenever she takes damage from an attack, she dispels debuffs on a random debuffed scoundrel ally. And if she is the only scoundrel ally there, she cleanses herself. So she has a self cleanse. Also, whenever another droid or scoundrel takes damage, she gains even more TM. And then the biggest thing here is her pre-taunt. It says right here, on this other rather self-modification, it says when L3 becomes prepared, she gains taunt. And then it says at the start of each encounter, she becomes prepared. So she's going to already have a pre-taunt while she's prepared at the start of the battle. So you're going to be dealing with somebody who has more protection from her uniques, a pre-taunt, and then a self-cleanse if she is the only scoundrel, and then some more TM if she has more buddies around her that are droid or scoundrel. I mean, this is amazing of a character. And then she has even more bonuses with her self-modification buffs that she gives out to herself. I mean, this is amazing, guys. She is so dang good. She also has a taunt built in with her other special. And I mean, just everything about this character, I feel like, is so amazing. This is one character I feel like everybody should go for in the roster when it comes to tanks. So good. So plug and play. You see her all the way around the table with uses in this game. She is amazing. So I think L3 is by far the best tank in the game with where you can use her in all sort of, different circumstances, guys. She is so good. My favorite way to use her, I will be using her rather, will be on defense, I think, with either a Barris, with a Ray, or maybe a different scoundrel team with some new scoundrels like a Queel, IG-11, and some Mando, stuff like that, right? I'm going to for sure use her on the defense, or if I need to, I can use her on offense for a pre-taunt. If I need to absorb some damage, from a Darth Revan sphere, or maybe a mark, or whatever it may be. There's a lot of different uses for both sides of the field, for both offenses and defenses. So L3 is definitely a great tank in the game. And then the next one I'm going to go talk about is just some other, pre-taunters in the game that are very good. I would say the best kind of tank and the best kind of taunt is a pre-taunt. I think it's by far the best one. You want it right out of the gate. And also, if you have one that can pre-taunt and also regain it over time with another special or another unique, it's definitely the best way to go. So who has those in the game? I know off the top of my head that Shore does as well. And also Sith Empire Trooper. So there's a few good pre-taunts in the game. I don't have both of those other ones I mentioned, but they're definitely great ones. They're not as plug and play. They're more about, for the Sith Empire Trooper, that's for the Sith Empire and Sith in general. And then you have Shore Trooper, which is really more for the Empire and the Imperial Troopers. But L3 is for really everybody. She is so good. She's so amazing. Other guys here that are worth noting, of course, Malik, GK, Bosk. I mean, really everybody you can see here that's with relics are great taunters. So good. And there's also other tanks that don't even have taunts either. I mean, you got a B2 here. And Zalbar does taunt, but it's not a pre-taunt. It's also a great taunt if you have a Ray, because he has a force taunt if Ray uses Lifeblood first, which he will, because he has a taunt whenever somebody goes below 100% health. So, I mean, just that whole aspect of taunts in the game and tanks, very important to your roster. And I've got to say, without having an L3 ready to go for GACs and TWs, it has been a major pain in my butt for all those different game modes, because having that pre-taunt comes in so clutch at times. I cannot begin to tell you how clutch it is, guys. Having that taunt is so amazing. Really, any pre-taunts in the game, so amazing for your JC. It helps immensely. And I just wish I had gotten her done earlier, but I am just now getting her done now. But anyways, pre-taunts, taunts, amazing in this game. Now I want to go talk about some modding. So mods for some of these characters I want to talk about is one particular set I feel like is amazing right now with some characters. And this is kind of used, I would say, for really any other characters in the game that base around health and defense, right? So we're talking about a Barris, we're talking about Jolie, we're talking about really anybody. Daga, IG-11 now is really good with it. Even that L3 is going to be great with it. So this set is actually my Barris, because I recently got my Barris Relic 5, but these are some mods I would look into. So you could go for an HP set and build, or what I've been trying to build myself is defense. And defense is an amazing set and bonuses for tanks in the game, because they make them even more harder to kill, right? So for now, I want to talk about health and defense percent. So modding for these characters, for tanks at least, should always be around defense percent based, right? With that in mind, let's see some of the mods I have built. So this is a great mod. This is, like I said, they're all HP builds because it's for a Barris. So this is a great mod. It has 10 speed. It has 10% defense, which is amazing. That is always what you want to shoot for these tanks. So that's a square. And we have this for even more health on the diamond, with, of course, some speed and, of course, the primary being defense, right? And then we have another health circle with some good speed and that high defense percent. This is actually a great mod. And then you might want to look into some mods that have 0 speed, like this one has no speed whatsoever, but has high defense percent. So mods I would look for when you're looking at tanks and modding your tanks, go for ones that, because most tanks don't need speed, right? They don't need speed whatsoever. They're just there to taunt, right? Pre-taunts, they don't need to go be very fast. They already have the taunt available, so why not just mod them for purely defense-oriented mods? So go for mods that are low speed, high defense percent, and just try to maximize that defense as much as you can. So we can go for health ones, we can go for defense ones. In some circumstances, you can go for tenacity ones, and other certain mods, depending on how the character plays out and where you want to kind of stop specific counters, right? So for how I'm going to use this set is really, it can be used on any of my taunts I want. It's all HP builds. It has a lot of good defense built on. And the stats you can see here, she is now at 61% armor, which is amazing. And from what it has bumped up to, it's bumped up, what, 12%? That's amazing. 12% with all that extra health. This is amazing set for a tank. And I recommend you guys farming mods that are like this if you want to build up your tanks in the game for your taunts, pre-taunts especially. So I think, you know, that's really about what I want to go over for today, is that fun 3v3 team. The pre-taunts with L3 especially, guys. She is so amazing. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how amazing L3 is in this game. I should have brought some footage to share with you guys, but I didn't really have any I want to talk about in particular because she is so wide in her variety of uses in the game. She is so plug and play. She's all over the place. She really is. She's so good. Pre-taunt, cleansing of herself, more TM gain, her own taunt when she gets her own turn, and the self-modification. She's all there. Everything's there for a character in a taunt. She's so amazing. Probably the best taunter in the game, in my opinion, especially with relics. But the taunts in this game are just so amazing. Definitely work on your own, guys. Get enough, not just, you know, the GBAs and the crews from the requirements and from the missions in the TB, but work on other taunts that are a bit more plug and play, you know, like the L3 is. So with all that in mind, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video about tanks and modding for tanks and all that sort of stuff. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, give it a like, share it around, and if you are new here to the channel, feel free to sub. It always definitely helps. And also, we have a Discord down below if you want to check that out and come hang out there. But that is it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later. Peace out and have a good one.